Count is two, but he picked him up at the 2 count. Picked him up by the hair. Boy, Bruno, you may pay for that. There he has wrapped his hand around his throat again. Referee counts.
Grabs the hair, lifts him up, in the air, slam down goes the Karate Kid. Bruno going to the rope. He may fall and break his neck up there.
He's on the top rope. He comes off of there, and the Karate Kid had moved Bruno. Now put into the turnbuckles. Karate Kid in with that side kick. Bruno reverses, throws him into the ropes, but the Karate Kid just climbs the rope. There with a drop kick. He covers Bruno.
There's Sylvia.
Sylvia jumps in. That's going to be a disqualification. Sylvia interferes again in the match. Robert Fuller jumps in, grabs the Karate Kid. Look at this.
Robert.
Fuller going with a pile driver on the Karate Kid. Here comes Jeff Jarrett, Max Payne, Sean Baxter, Scott Steiner, and there goes the stud stable.
Oh, man, a pile driver from Fuller on the cross. Same thing he did to Little Coco.
Exactly. Well, it was 3 minutes, 51 seconds. The win is going to go to the Karate Kid on disqualification as Sylvia interferes in the match.
We're going to take time out. Be back in just a moment.
This is the Pro Wrestling Reflection Podcast with your host, the Professor Chalbelo Veracruz.
What a run!
Mr. Wonderful Tommy Wonder.
And I will take the powers of those that have no fear!
And the prodigal one, JB.
The queen, the cream of the crop.
Now it's time to go back in time in the time machine.
Dream! Nasty round! 2! Sweet!
The living legend, Bruno Sammartino.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass! To be the man, you gotta beat the man! Woo! Look at this! He's I don't believe it!
Going on there, Reflectionites? What is going on there to the Vetoites, the Haminites, the probationary solitary confinement lifers, the PWCites? What's going on to the Magnificent 7, the Elite 8, the 99, the 2, the 10, the Essential 11? You know who you are. The Green Pieces, the Donnie Day 1. Speaking of Donnie Day 1, shout outs to the slowest motherfucker out there, Donnie Day 1, the man that still is listening to 2020 Deuce PWR shows. He has slid into the Professor DM. No Diddy, TW, don't even start this shit. But he just wanted to correctly say to the Professor, where did you ever do a pro wrestling spotlight on the Steiner brothers? And I had to, chime in and say, of course we did. Where the hell have you been? So he said, I'm still trying to catch up, Professor. I'm still trying to catch up, TW. I'm on the Antonio Inoki spotlight. I'm like, where the hell have you been? We're not even counting spotlights like we did back then. We're just doing spotlights. But again, Donnie Day 1, love you. And I know you won't hear this love I'm giving you until 2027. But again, neither here nor there. But This is the love I show to all the Magnificent Seven members. Phyllis Scott Wood, Michael Davis, Jeff Lipton. You know who you are. I show love when you show the professor love, when you show TW some love. And before I even do the intros, I just want to say a happy, belated 51st birthday to my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, the conservative liberal, the liberal conservative, Tommy Wonder. You know, TW, 51. 50 Wonder is a great number right there. I got it. I know you for so many years, so I know how you would say how old you are. But I just wanted to say, live on the air, in living color, if you will, have a blessed happy birthday to you, my friend. Love you, brother. You know how I love you, and can't wait to see you in September. But let me just do the introductions, because I ain't vain like that. Let me do the introductions because, you know, I get younger, you know, when I do the introductions. That's the gift and the curse. I have to do these every week, because if I don't do this introductions, I'll look like I'm 150 years old. I'm Benjamin Buttons the other way without introducing myself. I am the oh-so studious one. I am the oh-so effervescent one. I am the oh-so affluent one. But most importantly, I am the oh-so glorious one. The only objective man in this IWC, YWC, PWC, punditry. The only objective man in this political hemisphere. Fuck Biden, fuck Trump, fuck the GOP, fuck the Democrats, and all that stuff in between. The Professor Chabebe Cruz. And I'm not here alone. No. I'm here with the birthday boy himself. The Detroit Rock City Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world. Tommy Wonder, how you doing, my friend? And again, happy belated birthday to you, my brother.
Thank you. I'm doing really, really well. And I'm red, white, and berry. It's my drink of the summer, every summer.
And, you know, we're giving gifts galore right now. You know, we're giving a gift to executive producer extraordinaire Big Ray Hernandez, because Big Ray said that the professor, he slid into my DMs, no diddy TW, but he said, you know what? I'm doing the anniversary thing with my wife. I need to hear something on the airplane. I need to hear a PWR episode, so this way the plane ride won't be from hell, it'll be from heaven. So we're doing an episodic episode for Big Ray Hernandez. So not only one, it's easier for him to edit and do all his, you know, production extraordinaire shit. But two, I'm doing what I'm told to do right now. I'm doing what TW says we should do. Give out the episodes every week so the people love it. Like the Christopher Paul Bruce Swinland, he loves every episode that we drop. So, you know, I'm not trying to be on hiatus, even though I'd love to be on hiatus. I love to be on vacation with this goddamn heat wave that's going on. And by the way, TW, you know we got to blame it on climate change. It's always climate change. Don't give me that face. It was global warming in the 70s, and now the progressives have changed the words. They changed the pronouns as climate change.
It was global cooling in the 60s and 70s, global warming in the 90s, and now it's climate change.
No, but we have to blame it on the progressives. They've changed the word. They've changed the pronouns every goddamn day.
Getting proved wrong. Remember Al Gore said there'd be less polar bears in 20 years, and now there's fucking more than there's ever been, and the ice caps are thicker than they've ever been. Because he's full of shit, and he works people for green energy to make money, because that's what he invested in.
So before we get into our episode, TW, what will be in 20 years the next word after climate change? What would you suggest?
We're going to die tomorrow if you don't know that.
We're going to die tomorrow. We're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to die tomorrow. You went from global cooling to global warming to climate change to we're going to die tomorrow. You know what, TW? It would not surprise me if the progressives did that. So anyway, with that being said, we are going to do an episodic episode, because that's what we do here. And for Donnie Uday, one who is on 2020 Deuce, TW, it won't matter. Once I make it to 200, he's still on 2020 Deuce. He will not hear the 200th episodic episode until 2027. But I have to give the number out. We're on 186. We are 14 episodes away from the elusive 200. That's a lot of pressure on me. You know what? I'm going to put all the pressure on TW. It's TW's job to make the 200th episodic episode, the greatest episode of PWR podcast history. Are you up for that challenge?
I am. But
good, because you heard it here first. I wipe my hands of the 200 responsibilities all on TW. If he fucks it up or makes the show worse,
it can't be Luger walking out on Nitro, because we've already done it.
Right, I see the thumbs up.
It can't be Jericho walking out on Raw because we've already done it, have we?
Well, we did a spotlight on it, yes.
Yeah. We've already done the last Nitro.
Yes.
You know what it'll have to be? Because we got time.
What?
The very last episode of AEW.
Oh, Jesus. Now you want to slide into the DMs, Reflectionites, for TW on that one. Again, I'm trying to be about love and positivity here. But anyway, we are on episode 186 TW.
Shout out to Ethan Page.
The new NXT champion, all ego Ethan Page. But anyway, let me get into my diatribe, TW, before anything. We are on episode 186, and I picked a doozy. From July, was it 23rd of 1988? We went all the way back to Memphis, Tennessee, to the Jerry Lawler Memphis area, the CWA TW, and I picked a doozy of an episode, I guess because, it was July, so I kept the theme of July, so I wanted something from July itself. But it's very prevalent because since you talked about your favorite organization, AEW, I can roll it one way to another, because this episode kind of tells you the mantra of the IWC Marktards TW. It tells you the mantra of the attitude of the wrestling fans, because in this episode, we're going to talk about the matches that we saw, Reflectionites, don't get us wrong, but I want to give you the theme here, because one of the faux pas of All Elite Wrestling, and TW always has attested to this, is their lack of long-term storytelling, their lack of long-term booking. I'm not going to say that AEW doesn't tell stories, Reflectionites. I'm the most objective man in this IWC, YWC, PWC punditry. They do tell stories, but do they tell consecutive, consistent, long-term stories? No. Sometimes it's fleeting. Sometimes it goes one way. Sometimes it goes opposite. If they went progressive, then they go conservative. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but yet they try to tell a story, and sometimes they don't follow through. It doesn't make it consistent. Tony Khan can book a match out of his ass, don't get me wrong, because he's got the talent to do that, to do those 5-star Meltzer bangers that Meltzer creams in his pants for. But we're talking about long-term booking, TW. And with this episode here, Memphis is notorious for telling long-term storytelling. I can give you the Memphis stories. We already did an episode, Andy Kaufman versus Jerry Lawler, that lasted for a year and a half. We could talk about Jimmy Hart versus Jerry Lawler. And in this story alone, TW, from July of 1988, the overall theme of this episode is the long-term feud that's going on between the Stud Stable and Jeff Jarrett, with a little sprinkling of Jerry Lawler. But the key components is Jeff Jarrett. So what do they do, TW, every week on Memphis television on a Saturday morning? They tell that story, whether it's promos, interviews, matches at the Mid-South Coliseum, and all that stuff, because there is an end game. There is from a point A to a point B. Now, TW, we can go back and forth, maybe debate and say, is it too long? Is it long and drawn out? Sometimes it is, but they've stayed consistent to what was on the pen, and AEW doesn't do that. So, TW, what say you? Do you agree with that assessment? You have a different take on that? What say you?
I didn't know CWA was Memphis. I remember thinking it was somewhere north of that, like between Memphis and Ohio. I didn't think it was Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like Arkansas or fucking something like that, because that's where.
To be fair, Lexington, Kentucky was part of the CWA territory, because Jerry Lawler did perform in those arenas or armories over there.
But I didn't know how much it was Memphis. I didn't know, but it's clearly Memphis. It's got Lawler. It's got Jarrett. It's got Kerry Von Erich, this is right around the time of the Supercard where Lawler and
Super Clash,
where they merged the USWA and AWA World Titles or whatever it was.
That'd be later on. That'd be later on in December.
Right, I'm saying it's coming. It's coming. But first of all, what I like about this is it's very much like what we talked about with Shotgun Saturday Night. Everybody on this show you've seen fucking 7 times by the time it's over, because there's 8 guys on the payroll. They all fucking talk. They all wrestle. They talk again. They wrestle again. So it's consistent. Like it might, like Walking Dead, when it first started, The thing that I think made people watch it so much was binge watching. And then what happens is once people caught up, it wasn't as popular because one week the entire episode will be about Daryl and nobody else. Then the next week it'll be about Rick and nobody else. And then the next week will be about Carol and nobody else. So it's been a month since you've seen people, and then they have an episode where everyone's in it again, and it makes people happy. But they're getting impatient because it can't. They're like, "What the fuck is Rick? Where's Daryl? Where's whatever?" So when you go 2-3 weeks without seeing somebody, but that's what works in wrestling because you have so many people that if every week,
you have so many moving parts for wrestling that somebody can take a week off,
and you can drag shit out because of that, right? So I think the thing that made me a bigger fan of NXT Black and Gold was I didn't get to see Adam Cole and Undisputed Era every week. They might cut a promo or something, but there'd be a whole week, so it'd be 2 weeks between seeing them, and it was only 2 hours. And it's funny how the second it went to 3 hours, that kind of went away because now you got a whole another hour to fill. And you can't give a guy a week off because you need to fill 3 hours. And that's why I think the brand split works with the main roster versus not working, because you would end up with the same guys getting all the airtime and would get stagnant. This here with this episode, my only concern would be there's so many people in the stud stable. None of them are stars except for Tennessee Stud. The champions.
We will dissect this.
Anyway,
we will dissect the
there's so many people in the stable that you wonder if there's even enough airtime to have any other kind of side feuds or something like that. Like in UWF, Hot Stuff Hyatt International was feuding with John Tatum and his shit, but you also had Ted DiBiase feuding with Big Boss Man or Big Bubba Rogers. So this is my first time ever watching CWA, unless we've done it before.
We've done Memphis like all the time. We've done
Memphis, but I'm not CWA. So when everybody's involved in every match, is next week the same thing? Because if it is, it's going to get boring. So then you are a proponent of AEW's philosophy. You don't want it long drawn out. You just want you could be more wrong. AWA or AEW.
That was quick.
AEW puts the same fucking people on every fucking week while there's 70 guys in catering. And the funny thing is, that's what those fucking neckbeards run their mouth about all the time, is how guys get left in catering instead of being used on TV. Mark my words. Once Ricochet ends up in AEW, somebody's ending up at the bottom of the fucking pool, and it won't be long before it's Ricochet, because they just keep bringing guys in and burying guys they don't use anymore. Ethan Page, there's a reason I brought him up. He was nothing there. He was absolutely nothing there. He's already the top guy in NXT. And it's not because they didn't have top guys. It's because they fucking slid him right in and made him one. Right? The guy has it. He has it. And you got all these guys that have it there. I'm almost certain I just read Jungle Boy wrestled Marco Stunt the other day.
Yeah.
That guy hasn't been here in 2 years. Has been mad as fuck about not getting renewed. Yeah, he got a match with Jack Perry, and you still got fucking guys that haven't had a match that are under contract. It's dumb. It's dumb. And the thing about what I was saying about Walking Dead, eventually you do show me Rick, so I don't quit watching. There's people who are going to quit watching because they haven't seen their guy in so long. Like that other guy that teamed with Pillman. What the fuck's his name? Biff Beverly or whatever the fuck his name is?
Wait,
whatever. The Varsity Blonde guy.
Oh, you mean Griff Garrison?
Yeah, that guy. When the fuck's the last time they used him? Yet he's still under contract.
Ring of Honor. You don't watch Ring of Honor, but anyway, neither here nor there.
Does anyone?
Again, neither here nor there. But since you said your diatribe here, let me try to parlay it back to the Memphis thing, because you kind of said it could be long and drawn out. But again, when you have let's say the wrestling acumen of Jerry the King of Lawler, when you have the wrestling acumen of Jerry Jarrett, they don't try to make it long and drawn out. But there is a caveat to what you're saying, TW, and it's the Memphis territory. It belongs to Jerry Lawler. It belongs to Jerry Jarrett. So they have mostly they have the most to lose because they have the most investment into that territory. So the level of trust that Jerry Jarrett has for Lawler, the level of trust that Jerry Jarrett has for his son, Jeff Jarrett, if you will, TW. So they have to be the star players in this long, drawn-out feud because you know why, TW? They're going to still be there. They're going to still be committed to the territory. The stud stable can be interchangeable because some of those guys could go to World Class, could go to Portland, can go to Florida and the NWA and all that, or even be a jobber on WWF Wrestling Challenge if they want to. But the main players have got to stay there. So they got to stay invested. You got to be invested with your heroes. That's just what I'm just trying to say. I understand your point about it being
Here's the best part. Guess who wasn't on this episode?
Jerry the King Lawler.
Jerry King Lawler. So they're doing it right. They're keeping some of it away. And I don't think Jarrett wrestled.
No, he did.
He did wrestle. Oh, yeah. He drop kicked that fucking guy in his face. Beat him in 48 seconds.
But you got to see. You always talk about what's happening in the show, and then I try to give
the son of a bitch wrestled.
I try to give the chronology. I'm trying to give a theme to the show, the chronology of the show. You say, "Oh, that dude just got drop kicked in 48 seconds." There you go. That's it with the PWR episode right there. But anyway,
no, we got a main event. We got DC DeVille and Poison in a 6-man or tag 6-man. Yeah.
We're gonna get into that in a second, but. One more diatribe, a little bit, TW. I just want to say this because you was talking about the Kerry Von Erich thing, and let's just look at the landscape of 1988 because, again, Jerry the King Lawler was trying to build a partnership. Again, it goes back to AEW Reflectionites. I try not to do this, but I just want to show you that sometimes certain things that happen in the past, you're doomed to repeat it in the future, no matter what you try to do. What's that old saying? It's insanity if you keep repeating it again. I can get that.
What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
There you go. So
that's every Wednesday night.
Again, send all your messages to TW on his Facebook fan page. But anyway, neither here nor there. But TW, what Jerry Lawler was trying to do was trying to establish a wrestling relationship with Vern Gagne and the American Wrestling Association because, again, why was that needed to happen? Because Vince McMahon was kicking ass. Because Jim Crockett was actually the number 2 guy in North America. So to stay alive and try to thrive, I'm not saying they did, but try to thrive, you know, what can Jerry Lawler offer Vern Gagne? Talent because of himself, Jeff Jarrett, Bill Dundee. You have better talent because AWA was losing their talent. And Kerry Von Erich and all that stuff. What did AWA have for Jerry Lawler? Visibility because they were still on ESPN at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So they had a bigger platform to offer for Jerry Lawler and his Memphis territory. So in theory, the partnership could be there. The forbidden door, if you will, can be there. And again, I don't want to get into the long drawn out shit. Again, eventually, all forbidden door partnerships, TW, sometimes ends very tragic, sometimes ends very petty, sometimes ends very shisty. So, TW, before we get into this episode, you know, I'm not trying to say that Tony Khan's partnerships will be doomed to failure because of the insanity clause that we talked about, the insanity phrase. But sometimes the best intentions have the worst results. What say you, TW, about that? And then we'll go into this episode.
Well, here's the problem. If he just did them and let them roll, there wouldn't be people waiting for it to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, he runs his fucking mouth, and whenever you do that, for everybody that you're fucking turning on who's happy to hear you run it, there's 2 people that want you to shut the fuck up. And he never does. So the shit he did on the NFL draft, the shit when he talks about forbidden doors, it's like the insinuation that WWE's never done it. That's how I know who Austin Theory is because they get it. They might do it with NXT, but you know what? At some point, the people that make it to the Royal Rumble, they make it to other shit than NXT. So to act like you're the only one doing it, and then to do it, like, was it you that posted the Kevin Hart meme where it said, "God damn it, you're booking this shit like I've been here before. Let me explain this shit to me. Let me know what's going on."
I would love to take credit, but I don't think it was me. Somebody else.
You don't know what I'm talking about, though?
No.
It goes, AEW non-fan, their first time at an AEW show. And it's a skit with Kevin Hart talking to someone else who's explaining to him. He goes, look, you motherfuckers are running this shit like I already been here before. I ain't been here before. Tell me what's going on. Explain it to me. And that's the thing. That's his version of storytelling. Just keep going without fucking letting anybody know what's going on, right? So so what happens is people just tune in, and when you try to make it sport in 2024, unfortunately, we already have that sport. It's called UFC. So no one's buying it. They're watching it for entertainment. So you can have the sport part, but also entertain people. And if all you're doing is throwing 4 white fucking less than 5 foot tall, under 200-pound guys in a ring together, and sometimes adding 2 more to make it 6, and they just do jumping jacks and fucking backflips, nobody gives a fuck. They've all not only have they already seen it before, they already saw it on the first match and the second and the third. So by the time it gets to the end, they're done with it, and they ain't turning it on next week because they know every fucking match was the same, so every week is going to be. So they either love it and come back like the neckbeards do, or they go, this ain't for me. And the second they do that, they get attacked by who? The neckbeards. Oh, you fucking Mark-tard WWE bot, whatever terms they use.
If they do the same match, if they do the same match over and over, and no matter all the partnerships Tony Khan has done and can bring, it's still the same match.
They all do the same moves. They all do the same sequences. They all do the same outside spots. Everything is the fucking same. I wrestled on indie shows where I went up to people and said, hey, man, especially if I was the main event, this is our finish. Don't do it. Don't do it. And no one did it.
You had clout and you had respect.
Well, no. If I was the opening match, I would go up to the main event and go, hey, man, are you guys doing this? No? All right, we are. Thank you. You run the risk of the fucker stealing it.
You're showing the courtesy. You're showing the rules. That's what it is.
You're a team. That's what these fuckers in AEW don't understand. And I'm talking about the talent. They think they're all there to outshine everybody else. No. You're there as a team to make a better product to outshine the other guy's product.
But you want to be the main event. Everybody has to outshine somebody else. So you have to show yourself.
You pull your weight and fucking take advantage of the time you do get, and you get yourself over, DIY. If you get yourself over, you're going to elevate yourself up the card. You're not going to do it. You don't politic till you get to the top. You politic to stay there. You don't politic before.
And that, my friends, is courtesy.
Yes.
TW right there. How to do it the right way in the wrestling business. But anyway, let's get into this.
If I ever ran a show, I would start everyone off with a meeting, and I say, listen, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want, but whoever does it first, nobody do it after. And you have to watch the matches.
I hear you, but remember, Reflectionites, this diatribe is courtesy of Smirnoff Ice, because he drank first, then got on, then we recorded. So, he's already did a 6-pack. That's all it is. But anyway, let's get into this episode right now. Episode 186, this episodic episode, TW. CWA Wrestling, Memphis Wrestling, from July 23rd, 1988, from the Memphis studios, the infamous Memphis studios, from Saturday mornings. And again, the MVP of this episode is the Stud Stable. So when you look at it, TW, the Stud Stable is actually funny because you got a wrestler manager in Robert Fuller. Then you got another manager in Tojo Yamamoto. And then you got another lackey manager in Harvey Whippleman, a.k.a. Downtown Bruno. I'm just counting the people I saw, Reflectionites.
And the girl.
And the girl, valet. So you got four kind of like outside agitators in the stable. Not to mention the wrestlers that Robert Fuller has supposedly paid for his services. We got Bunkhouse. It was a Brickhouse Brown. I think they call him Bunkhouse Brown because he had a cowboy hat.
He became a heel.
You got the Southern Heavyweight. Let me just say what I got to say. You got the Southern Heavyweight Champion Phil Hickerson. I don't know how the hell he got a title. Again, neither here nor there. That's your taste or whatever. And you got Gorgeous Gary Young. This is who I saw, TW. So this is a big ass faction.
And some fucking fake Great Muta.
Oh yeah, Senshi, because they couldn't afford Great Muta, so you gotta create your own with a mask. Once you put a mask, it's a white boy with a mask. But anyway, neither here nor there. But TW, it probably was Billy Travis in a mask. But again, I digress right now. But TW, I just gave you
Paul Diamond.
No, he was still in AWA, but maybe he might do double bookings. You might be right. But TW, what say you, TW? This is a big ass faction here, TW. So, like we said, they are the MVPs of this episode alone, and most of them have problems with outer, let's say, the heroes of the South. You got the problems with Jerry Lawler, you have problems with Jeff Jarrett, and in this episode alone, you have problems with Billy Travis and a midget, and we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. Again, we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But TW, what say you, TW? What say you about this big ass faction with 4 outside agitators and then 4 wrestlers or 5 wrestlers? This is a big ass faction, bigger than Bobby and
gorgeous Gary Young, right?
Yes, I did.
The funniest part of all of it is calling that dude gorgeous, because he ain't.
That's his name. That's his name.
I know. The fact that they call this guy gorgeous is hilarious to me. He's the most vanilla fucking guy of all of them. He's got the fucking Bob Vila head. He fucking looks like he fucking valet park your car for you. And he's the pretty boy. When Tennessee Stud, obviously he's a little bit older, but he's 10 times handsomer than any of the other guys. And that Phil Mickelson, whatever the fuck his name is, that's the fucking guy with a belt?
Yes.
Looked like fucking Uncle Elmer. It was terrible. One of the worst promos I've ever seen. Make Rick Martel's promo seem like championship Hall of Fame material. Terrible.
Hey, the country boys, the hillbillies of Tennessee love Phil Hickerson for a reason, and that's why he got a belt.
They laughed at his dumb little song.
Again.
Making fun of, he made fun of midgets. Can't do that.
Wait a minute. Wait. I'm asking you to
faction.
Yes, but what say you? Because this is a big-ass faction, TW. This is big. This is bigger than Devastation. This is bigger than Devastation Incorporated. This is bigger than the Heenan family. This is bigger than the Hart family. This is even bigger than the Four Horsemen. Is it too much? Is it overkill? Is it, again, everybody served a purpose. I'm trying to convey to the Reflectionites who did not watch Memphis Wrestling to give them that picture in their head.
So is this Memphis Wrestling renamed?
What do you mean?
So is Memphis Wrestling done by now, and a CWA is what Memphis was?
Yeah.
Wasn't USWA still around?
No. USWA would start in '89 with
That's
that
when they
partnership.
merged World Class with AWA.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, World Class with CWA.
What happened to AWA?
They brokered off because of again, remember the Forbidden Door, the partnership just plummeted.
Right. And AWA ended up going out of business.
Right.
I always thought USWA was because AWA was like USAWA.
They were part of the plan, but again, plans change and all that stuff. So again, TW, what I'm trying to say and convey to the Reflectionites is the picture in their head. This faction is so big with a lot of the players. There's so many players here. The outside agitators with the wrestlers too. It's a big ass family, so everybody's gonna, interfere. So it's gonna be 8-on-1. It's gonna be 8-on-2. It's gonna be 8-on-3. TW. So from your Booker head, TW, is it overkill? Is it bad? Could you do it right? What say you, TW? What is the positives and the negatives of this faction?
My first thought when this started coming on was, the TV studio aside, they showed footage of like super shows or Saturday night shows or whatever. And fuck, I swear, every time I see this fucking Southern shit, World Class, Memphis, NWA, CWA, anyway, UWF, I fucking wish I could have wrestled in front of one of those crowds just once. Like, as me, not as a jobber. Like, go out as Tommy Wonder, go out as Calavera Cortez. I'd have been a fucking star, man. Because I'm telling you, I knew how to fucking work crowds. And these crowds were so fucking awesome because this is why I love wrestling in Lima, Ohio. This is why I love wrestling in Windsor, Ontario. They fucking booed the bad guy and cheered the good guy to a fault. It was lovely. And then right when I start wrestling in 94, that shit starts going away. But not in Lima, not in Windsor. It was like everyone was an ECW town except for those two towns. And inevitably, they switched to, right? The bad guys are just too much fun anymore. And it was like, but the best part of all, being a bad guy who gets over organically, as they say, Austin, is there's no better feeling. There's none. Because when you get if you get thrown out there as fucking Billy Joe Travis, fucking white meat baby face with fucking bleach blonde hair, and maybe he works out, maybe he doesn't, you go out there, And, dude, you better have it because they're going to fucking chew you up and spit you out. They did it to Roman Reigns. They did it to Rocky. They did it to Cena. These fucking fans anymore, if you're not what they want, they rebel. But you mark my words, when Roman's ass comes back, he's going to be the most popular guy in the fucking building.
Absolutely. But you didn't answer the question.
What?
I said, what was the positives and the negatives of having a big-ass faction of the stud stable?
My point was, I never spit my point out. My point was, you can't say it's too much because they drew. As long as they're drawing, that's it. That means, that's what I was talking about the crowds. They fucking drew. They put asses in seats, and they drew. Side note, just bring AEW back in. This is fucking 4 years away. This month, right here, right now, in 4 years, this will be 40 years old. And Jeff Jarrett will still be wrestling in the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament.
Good. He will be. No doubt about it.
Years.
Hey, when you have it in your blood, TW, like you have wrestling in your blood, you will do it.
I think he started wrestling at like 16 and 86 or something.
Yeah. So he should be in his 50s. I know that much. I think he's in his mid-50s.
He's early. He's probably 52 is it.
Could be, yeah. I don't know the exact.
4 years from now would be 40 years. Mm-hmm. No. He would be...
Do what you do best. Multitask. Google it. See how old he is.
Yeah.
But while he's Googling how old is Jeff Jarrett, which he's probably... I think he's 55, 56.
Holy fuck, he's 56 right now.
I got it. And no Google. That's why I'm the professor. But anyway, with the stud stable, the first match that you saw the MVP players go into is a trios match, aka a 6-man match. It was Robert Fuller, Bunkhouse Brown, and Senshi against a young rookie, TW, a diamond in the rough, Scott Steiner. You had somebody who had a look, but didn't have he didn't know what he wanted to do. But he
actually did not work that bad.
I'm saying for his character, he did not hone in on that character until the 90s. Per se, and Max Payne. Right. And then, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. This is Ricky Morton on crack. This is a Bon Jovi wannabe. This is a winger wannabe.
It's fucking CC DeVille, dude. Straight up. Guitar player from Poison. Big, blonde, bleach hair.
We're going to call him CC DeVille because I don't even know his name in this fucking match. But anyway, neither here nor there. But TW.
RJ Walker or some shit, Atkins.
No. CC DeVille, TW. Get it right. It's CC DeVille. Right. But anyway, this was a trios match here to accentuate the stud stable. Like I said, they're the MVPs of this episode. But on the other side, let's hone in on the two diamonds in the rough. Max, what? Yeah, that's CC DeVille. I got you. But we got two diamonds in the rough. We got Scott Steiner and we got Max Payne, TW. And we talked about Scott Steiner on the spotlight. This man he had the look. He just didn't know what he wanted to do with himself, or he didn't have the direction. Maybe the direction he always knew is he was going to do something with his brother Rick. And the stars aligned when they got to the NWA, WCW, WWE, Japan, and all points in between. But TW, what say you about the diamonds in the rough in this 6-man tag match with Scott Steiner and Max Payne? I don't care about CC DeVille just yet.
Max Payne, and it ain't saying much. This is the best that guy ever looked. When that guy came to WCW, he looked fucking terrible. And then
but he knew what his gimmick. He wanted to parlay his gimmick. Right. He wanted to accentuate the visuals more. He didn't know about it in Memphis. I'm
looking at him in this match going, I see raw talent, like a look-wise. He's in shape. Looks like he saw the inside of a gym as something other than the janitor. He's got, like, makeup on. He kind of looks like Kevin Nash's Master Blaster Steel or whatever the fuck he was called. Right. But for him to go from that to basically an even fatter version of Mankind, it's like...
With a guitar.
With a guitar. And as bad as he looked as Max Payne, he's 10 times worse as Mountain Rock, to the point where I'm like, how the fuck did this guy get hired? So now, as I watch him in this match, I go, he's got to be related to Lawler or Jarrett, something. He had something or some dirt on someone. This is not a WWE guy, and somehow he became one. I don't get it. He's not really that good in this match. Not even very memorable. The Ricky Morton with CC DeVille hair, he kind of shined, I thought, and Scott Steiner did a little bit, but it came off to me. It's like,
wait, before you go on your diatribe, what I noticed in this match was Scott Steiner. You could see the beginnings of Big Papa Pump. You can see the beginnings of an attitude. You can see the beginnings of a guy who's like, I'm better than what they're trying to book me as.
Right. He's taking what he got.
No, he's taking what he got, but he's trying not to, like, technically he's supposed to be enhancement, right, TW?
Right.
To a degree. But he's
that's what I thought. That's what I thought, but I don't think that's what they were.
Or maybe that's what he was like, I'm not that. I'm going to give you my best. Right. I'll let you beat me, but I'm going to give you my best and make it.
They cheated to win. So I think these guys were supposed to be some kind of competition.
Well, CC DeVille was the lame dog.
Right, but he's the one that took the fucking brass knuckles.
Well, you know what, TW? We got to talk about CC DeVille because, again, he took the bumps. He took the cane shot from Senshi. He took all the heat to protect Scott Steiner, to protect Max Payne and all that stuff. But it's supposed to make the stud stable look so insurmountable, indestructible, and all that stuff. So did they get what they wanted out of this opening trios match?
Based on the crowd reaction, yeah. Because even if they were enhancement guys, they got heat for the stud stable because they once again cheated. That was a recurring theme in the episode when fucking Phil Mickelson did his promo. He had to have two referees pat him down because he cheats all the time. When Tommy Gilbert does his promo with fucking not so gorgeous Gary Young, what you got against gorgeous Gary Young? That's his name. He called himself that. He said he's gonna call me that. He's not gorgeous. I'm not
saying he is gorgeous, but
they had to have a stipulation where he couldn't punch or he'd get fined for punching because Tommy Gilbert wanted a wrestling match. So it fed the story. They cheated to win against jobbers, you know, and bump for him. Scott Steiner was fucking throwing motherfuckers around.
That's why I said it kind of looked like Scott Steiner would not take direction very well, even though he's a rookie. Well, this is 88. He's a rookie. He's probably been in the business for a year and a half. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to be a WWE jobber. I'm not going to be an NWA jobber. I'm going to be somebody who is.
I certainly ain't going to be a CWA jobber.
Right. So, Scott, that's why that's why he was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I can, make enough noise, and then, you know what? Right, get my shit in.
7 super kicks.
He was Brian Cage. He was Brian Cage before Brian Cage was born. Get my shit in. But anyway,
he was Steiner Buck.
With that being said, TW kind of harped on it a little bit because there was a promo between Gorgeous Gary. He is gorgeous. I'm sorry. That's what he called himself. Between Gorgeous Gary Young and Tommy Gilbert. And it was funny because Tommy Gilbert, we know the tree of Tommy Gilbert because his brother is Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and all that stuff. And then, of course, Doug Gilbert, the Gilbert family. So it was kind of funny that Tommy Gilbert, the Gilberts are heels. But this was almost heel on heel. But then the crowd has got to choose a hero. And for some strange reason, they chose the Gilberts to be the baby faces, TW. So I kind of find that ironic. I kind of find that funny. But TW, these are smart fans. They understand who's supposed to be the face, who's supposed to be the heel. So TW, do you agree with that assessment? Even though you and I know that the history of the Gilberts, they're crafty, they're devious, they're diabolical and all that stuff. They're crazy motherfuckers. But someone had to be cheered.
Yeah. And Tommy Gilbert came off as the old school fucking old buck. Gary Young's the young buck. Sees his chest fuse all the way down his ball throw, wants to take the young buck for a ride. Now I mean the young bucks. But the funny thing is, the entire time I'm watching this old motherfucker, I'm expecting. Well, the entire time Gary Young's talking about, I'm waiting for Doug Gilbert to walk out for some reason. I forgot Tommy Gilbert was the dad. But I also was going, he was a referee, man. He must have aged fucking terribly because he don't even look familiar to me. Then I realized about halfway through the show, and the second time out there, that's Tommy Gilbert, not Tommy Young. And I'm like, but I think Tommy Gilbert was a referee for UWF.
Could have been. I don't know. Could have been. I can't.
This is after UWF is no more.
Yeah, well, yeah, to a degree, yeah, it was no more. So
you know, bought out by Turner.
Again, Reflectionites, the overall theme and the biggest, let's say, babyface against the stud stable is Jeff Jarrett. And in previous weeks, the stud stable injured Jeff Jarrett's arm. So he had his arm in a cast. And this was the first week after, I think, 6 weeks. See that number, TW, 6 weeks? Wrestling knowledge, Wrestling 101. When you do a storyline, 6 weeks, it makes it seem, better. It makes that number bigger. Like, oh, your hero was out for 6 weeks. Now he's back and he's ready to kick ass, which he did. But within that, TW, we had another promo. And this is why I kind of love Memphis Wrestling, because let's say the owners got into it. The general managers got into it. Eddie Marlin got into like some of the storylines. He interjected himself. And of course, the owner of the CWA, TW, Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett's father, got into it because he had some war of words for the stud stable himself. So, Jerry Jarrett, he got in these matches too. So sometimes in the Mid-South Coliseum, it was Jerry and Jeff Jarrett against maybe Robert Fuller and Bunkhouse Brown and stuff like that. So, Jerry Jarrett would do anything for his territory, his organization, because again, that's his money. So TW, let me ask you this in a kind of a two-part question. One, let's go with the outside of the box theory, because again, Jerry Jarrett is kind of like doing the Roman Reigns push, but the Memphis crowd is let's say receptive towards it. They're not like, oh, why are you, pushing your kid down our throats? Jerry Lawler, kind of like said he's good by me. Jackie Fargo says Jeff Jarrett is good by me. Of course, his father's going to say he's good by me and all that stuff. So got this Bill Dundee. He's good by me. He's good people. He's a friend of ours and all that stuff. You got the wrestlers giving the seal of approval. But you know what? It's kind of funny, TW, because you can't do that now. If you try to give somebody the seal of approval, the smart mark-tards will say, you're pushing him down our throats. We don't want this. It's not organic and all that stuff. Technically, what they did in the 80s is not technically organic, but we were more receptive towards it. So let's see, why is that we're more receptive in the 80s to a degree? More to a degree. It didn't fail if you was trying to anoint somebody, than it is in today's standards of wrestling. 2 words. What's that?
The internet.
Great. Yeah. Blame technology again.
Dead serious. If it's not for the internet, so much shit would happen so much differently. Just because you just, like I listened to Cody say something the other day about being a part of the indie revival. And I just thought, this shit ain't like it was. It still ain't nothing like it was when I wrestled. When I wrestled, it was a symbiote of the 80s, but also with new shit, right?
Well, I think he meant the indie revival in terms of money drawing,
right? Bringing money back,
making a living. So
it felt to me like I wouldn't call CWA indies, right? I would call it territory. But I would say that modern shit now, and it's maybe even dead too, because you got AEW and Ring of Honor are one, MLW and Impact, they're fucking little engines that could. NXT would be on their level, right? That's what they are. They're similar to those. Bigger than most, smaller than some. And then you got Raw and SmackDown is just fucking steamrolling everything, right? And I think if I were to run a show at the high school at the end of my street, or elementary school, whatever the fuck, I don't think it would draw fucking anything close to what fucking Ring of Honor did. So I don't know why they're calling the shit indie. And when it ain't really indie, it's Ring of Honor's more territory. It's a region.
Remember, they changed the pronouns and the meanings of things from the last 25 years. So indie
just isn't big owned. Well, until Vince fucking turned it public, it was still a small business.
I'm just saying that's what it is. I'm just saying. But TW, you said the internet. So if the internet was prevalent, if Commodore 64 had the ability to do the internet, and you and I could chat on Commodore 64, and I say something, and then 2 weeks later, Jeff Jarrett pushed down our throats. Yuck. I mean, that's what you're saying? We would have to do that? Yes. It would be that because we would have to complain on the internet.
Who's this Jay Brown? And here's the problem.
What's the problem?
So when we were kids, sure, we might have had a favorite wrestler, but we loved everybody. We loved all the good guys. So we weren't mad if Tito won the IC title from fucking Greg Valentine and not fucking Steamboat, right? We were just happy one of them did. Now, your tribalism is what you call it. There's tribalism within the tribe. People love Adam Page. Other people love Kenny Omega. Some still like Jericho. Some like fucking Christian Cage. Some like Edge. Problem is, one of them can only win. Not all five. And the second one of them do, the 4 fucktards that didn't, fan base, are going to be mad that their guy didn't. But the second they leave, they're going to, the same fuckers are going to say, oh, fucking AEW didn't know how to use him. He's going to be fucking great in NXT, blah, blah, blah. Go to TNA.
Ethan Page. I'm just saying.
Go to TNA. They'll treat you like a fucking star. You know what I mean? Even though they were still your favorite there. You're just mad because they never won the belt that you wanted to win. Because they're not marks for belts. You are.
Right. Well, again, Jeff Jarrett, you should be glad there was no internet and you have a 40-year career and you will be in consecutive Owen Hart tournaments. So with that being said, again, the theme of the stud stable was they got involved in a lot of these matches. They got involved with Jeff Jarrett's match, but, you know, that was 48 seconds. So it was to accentuate that feud. But we have to talk about the match of the year, the match of the decade, the match of the 80s. And that was Harvey Wilperman, a.k.a. Downtown Bruno, against the midget extraordinaire, the Karate Kid. I don't know his real name, but that's how he booked himself, the Karate Kid. TW, you said that I only know a couple of midgets from the 80s. I forgot about the Karate Kid. So you know what? When I saw this match, I watched this 3 times because I wanted to see the Karate Kid in action. And you know what? Downtown Bruno tried his best, but Downtown Bruno was afraid to take bumps. And the Karate Kid was afraid to, like, you know, show off all his skills because he kind of like backpedaled and he did a couple of botches. So, but I'm being fair here. He was trying to protect Downtown Bruno, a.k.a. Harvey Wilperman. So what say you about the midget wrestler extraordinaire, TW, the Karate Kid?
Christopher.
Why the Karate? Wait, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Why the Karate Kid got to be white? Why? Daniel LaRusso was not white. He was Italian, not white.
White is Caucasian, or Italian is Caucasian.
Christopher
Doobie was a midget wrestler who appeared in Memphis in 1998 through 1991.
Okay. Oh, that's it. His real name is Christopher Doobie.
Yep.
So he's named after.
Smoked a lot of doobies.
Yeah, that's what he was named after weed. So his parents really fucked him up 2 ways. So he had no choice but to become a wrestler.
Birth father of man who was adopted named Chabela Bella Cruz.
You know what? My seed carries a lot of weight. So I don't know. It carries for decades. But anyway, TW, what say you about this match? The match of this was TW's match of the year of 1988, right?
Yes. Fucking botchamania. This motherfucker would be right on it.
But whose fault was it? Was it
that little motherfuckers? Bruno sucked.
They're both little motherfuckers. I didn't know how small.
One's an actual midget. One is just the same size as you. He's a little man. That's all. And he's running the ropes. Right foot first, left foot, right foot, and then turns with his left arm. And I'm just watching. I'm like, hey, Bruno, turn with the same flow of your legs, not fucking opposite. And then he finally catches on and does it the other way. But the finish was the absolute worst of it all. He fucking took about 17 minutes to bounce from the first rope to the second rope and straighten himself out and then to do a drop kick off the fucking second rope to Harvey Whipperman. And it was like, come on. And then, what did he get for his troubles, Professor?
He got the shit kicked out of him by the stud stable.
And?
Well, Sylvia first fucked it up.
He got pile driven by fucking Tennessee Stud. And he got to have his little bitty head by the big sock and fucking Tennessee Stud's fucking tights.
I'm just, you know what's funny, TW? Again, this is the beauty of midgets. You got to do these moves on them. This is what gets the most heat. You get the heat if you do something to a midget.
What's
Just
the
like Roddy.
greatest midget spot of all times? You know it off the top of your head. You know what?
Little Beaver, and King Kong Bundy.
Nope. That was
Roddy Piper and the Haiti Kid with the haircut too. That's the top.
Also funny, but those got defeated on an episode of Monday Nitro.
What is the moment?
Kevin Nash throwing fucking Rey Mysterio head first.
But he's not a midget. He's not a midget.
He fucking is a midget to Kevin
No,
Nash.
he's not. He's not a midget.
He's a midget.
You said midget moments. I gave you 2 of them already.
Because I was calling Ray a midget. That's why.
That is disrespectful.
Human lawn dart.
That's disrespectful to Rey Mysterio. But hey,
is it a great memorable moment?
It is, but he's not a midget.
Yeah.
He's just not a midget.
Midgets,
but anyway,
midgets. Yeah.
This pile driver that Karate Kid took was the number 3 midget moment in wrestling history, behind Haiti Kid, behind Little Beaver in WrestleMania 3. Point blank period. What 2?
Little Beaver getting the elbow by fucking Bundy is number.
That's what I said. I said Little Beaver.
Number 2 is Rey Mysterio, or the pile driver.
Rey Mysterio is not a midget. God damn it! What is wrong with you?
Right, number 2 is the pile driver by Tennessee Stud.
Yeah,
he had a sock in his drawers to make it look like he had a fucking Johnny Holmes.
Number 1 is Little Beaver, WrestleMania 3. Number 2 probably is this, and then number 3 is Haiti Kid getting his head shaved by Roddy Piper. So that's the 3 heel heats.
And then number 4 is Rey Mysterio getting.
He is not a goddamn midget. Stop disrespecting Rey Mysterio. But anyway, neither here nor there.
Something with Hornswoggle rounds out the top 5.
Now, TW, within this episode, again, another Southern hero, kind of like, from the ashes, if you will. And that is Billy Joe Travis. And he has a heartfelt promo, too. He says that the Jarretts took him in, when he needs money for his crack. The Jarretts give him money for his crack.
Jarrett Dix, he sucks to get it. Yes.
Yes,
that wasn't very nice. That's not true, guys. We're joking.
No, yeah, we're joking. He joined the Jarrett Kiss My Ass Club. But anyway, neither here nor there. But Billy Joe Travis is another Southern Belle hero, TW, in this feud with the Stud Stable. And he had a match with gorgeous Gary Young. And the result was the same. Everybody got in. It's like you said, this is Shotgun Saturday Night. The same people came back. It's kind of funny when the same people come back. This is the disadvantage, Reflectionites, of a studio, because you can't afford security. You can't put people, you can't like close the heel locker room and the babyface locker room, so this way the people, the Stud Stable wouldn't come out all the goddamn time. So there was not enough security back there, TW. So again, with the optics, is that a disadvantage, or does that accentuate the atmosphere or the experience of a studio wrestling show? What say you?
The kayfabe aspect, or like the legit not being able to have security?
Both.
I think it adds to it, because it's like they're unruly, more heat.
Okay.
What I don't like is,
but you know where I'm going with it's the Mark Tar logic. It's like, how many times are these people going to come down without security, or kind of like doing the right thing?
Right. Well, the reverse would be, how many times they're going to come out and beat the security guards' asses like they weren't there, because that's the other scenario.
That's true too.
I liked after not this Money in the Bank, but the one before it, Clash of the Castle or whatever.
Okay.
Where they asked Triple H a question about security guards. He goes, "Hey man, WWE security guards go on to bigger, better things down the road. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. It's because they're all fucking indie wrestlers that fucking get their feet in the door. CM Punk's been one. Fucking probably AJ Styles was one. Fucking
Braun Breaker was a security guard too.
Braun Breaker, just it was hilarious. It was a nice little tongue-in-cheek fourth wall situation, but I like it because it just draws heat. I don't like this. What I was to say, they come in there. They fucking hit Billy Joe with the chair. They fucking flatten him with a second chair shot. So they're already up one. They have more guys. And they're all in the ring. They already got one guy down. All their guys are in the ring. And then fucking CC DeVille and Scott Steiner run out and they leave. Why wouldn't they beat the fuck out of them two as well? Which means, again, they're not jobbers.
Because CC DeVille's pissed that he got hit with the kendo stick. Right. So, it makes kind of logical sense for CC DeVille and Scott Steiner to come back.
I know it makes sense for them to come back. What doesn't make sense is for them to cower and run. Because they're outnumbering them, and they already got the star laid out with the chair. Now they just got to beat the job guys they already beat in the match earlier. And they're outnumbered. But they run like little bitches. And Scott didn't have a fucking chair. CC the Bill didn't have his fucking trusty guitar. Man Mountain Rock didn't even come out. He did. He did. Fucking slow.
He did.
It's 3 against 5 or 6 guys, and they fucking
three against 8. It was 3 or 4 against 8. That we counted
the girl
it.
Already showed she'll throw hands. So yeah.
That too. That's again. That's the overall theme of the Stud Stable and what they did. So again, Billy Joe Travis was a victim. The Karate Kid was a victim.
You think he's WWE Hall of Fame material, Billy Joe Travis?
Hell no. No. Memphis Hall of Fame.
Memphis Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Memphis Hall of Fame, CWA Hall of Fame. I'll give him.
Pretty young there.
Well, he was there. He was there for the whole shebang in Memphis territory lore or something like that. So, well, with that being said, one more thing, and then we have to close it out because Phil Hickerson, multiple times Southern Heavyweight Champion. I don't know how, but he did. Multiple times he fought Jerry Lawler. And it drew money at the Mid-South Coliseum. I don't know how. I guess I'll give Jerry Lawler a lot of credit on that. But Phil Hickerson hates midgets. Phil Hickerson.
We killed 2 midgets this week. Said it so fucking straight-faced that my buddy was watching, helping put the door on. He goes, he just keeps repeating it. Killed 2 midgets this week.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do this song for the midgets. And he sang the song, and the crowd fucking sang it with him and cheered along.
That's the funny thing. I don't care about the match he had with Tommy Gilbert. That's fly shit. We don't care. I just wanted to focus on how the hell. This is a great example, Reflectionites, of you need the territories, or you need variety, or you need options. TW, because if the WWE is the only ticket in town, Phil Hickerson is not in the main event scene. He's not even in the big car scene.
He's not in the match. He's taking the fucking ring apart.
There you go. I'm not even going to argue with that. But again, this is the beauty of having options. It's like, of course. But
what floor are you on?
I'm on the 7th floor.
And what are they, helicopters?
Well, when you deal drugs,
it sounded like it was outside your window.
When you deal drugs, it happens. They come everywhere. But anyway, Phil Hickerson is the embodiment, TW, of options, is the embodiment of variety, because you might make fun of it, you might make fun of AEW, TW, but you always said you don't want it to die, you don't want it to go out of business, you want the boys and the girls to make money.
I want it to improve.
Well, that too, but you just wanted to survive. You want people to have options. Phil Hickerson.
The best way to do that is for Tony Khan to get a fucking gag order. He's a fucking idiot.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, let's get back to Phil Hickerson, the luckiest motherfucker ever. He looks like Uncle Elmer, Reflectionites, and he's the Southern Heavyweight Champion. He's actually the #1 contender to the AWA World Heavyweight Championship, TW, at this time. He would be the #1 contender to face Jerry Lawler for that belt. So let's say TW, if you had a little pop belly and your beard was a little bit blacker, I would say Phil Hickerson's, you'd be Tommy Hickerson. What say you?
You hurt me with your words.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. It's all out. That's my.
You got that Savio Vega 2024. You just hurt my feelings. Man.
Yes. Well, tomato. But anyway, TW, what say you about how lucky Phil Hickerson had to have a wrestling career? Do you thank Jerry Jarrett? Do you thank Jerry Lawler?
This dude either gave the best head in the locker room ever, or he's related. There's no other explanation. None.
I will go with door A.
Tommy Gilbert looks like the fucking ring general. You fucking ain't any good.
Again, I will go with option A and all that stuff. So
he was funny. I would give him that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just as funny looking. And I'll tell you another thing. I fucking love Rob Parker. Love him.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Ric Flair robe, fucking cowboy hat is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And then takes it off to his no knee pad, grandpa tights having ass, and I'm just like, come on, man, get with the fucking time.
But isn't that part of the look and the lore to make fun of himself to a degree? He's a manager first, but he's a wrestler. He's a wrestling manager. And sometimes, Bobby Heenan was a wrestling manager in the AWA.
Like Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, but he was bigger than Bobby Heenan. You got to give me that.
Bobby Heenan's head, Dustin Rhodes' body.
When But let's put a bow on this, TW, and then we'll end the show, and then Ray can listen to this on the airplane to the Dominican Republic. But
that's where he's going.
Yeah, for his anniversary, all that stuff.
Keep him.
Yeah, the orgy house or whatever in Dominican Republic. I don't know.
They might keep his Dominican ass. They might keep him.
They could. They're gonna swing. But anyway, neither here nor there. But what Robert Fuller is not the type of wrestling manager that he doesn't cower. He's not the Bobby Heenan type. He's not the Jimmy Hart type where, the
he's
fans will.
Type.
Yeah, he's the DDP type. So, he's got a stable of people, but he can kick ass and take an ass whipping too. So, what say you, TW, about
best pile driver of a midget I ever seen?
That too. But let's put a bow on this stud stable. What say you? Untapped potential? Were they just overbooked, or are we putting more credit than what they really deserve? What say you, TW? And we close out.
If I'm not mistaken, and they talked about Ron Fuller or Don Fuller, whatever the fuck Fuller. It was
Robert Fuller, Tennessee. Okay. Robert Fuller,
who was Bunkhouse Buck.
He's not in this.
But that's who he is, right? Robert Fuller is Bunkhouse Buck.
No, that's two different people.
That's two different people?
Yes.
All right. So anyway, I want to say there was a time the stud stable was him, stud, Robert Fuller, think Sid Vicious, and fuck.
You're going with the Colonel Robert Parker family of WCW. That's a different.
No.
They were not in Memphis. That was not a.
This is what I'm telling you. I remember in the magazine, Sid was part of the fucking stable. It was before he made it to WCW.
No, it wasn't. It was Sid, but it was Lord Humongous.
Okay, fine, whatever the fuck. And then I think Rod Price was one.
Could have been, maybe.
And it was good. This fucking version. I say nice things about Brickhouse Brown. I still can't believe that guy didn't get a better push because he fucking had it. Whenever he came out the boombox and all that shit, he looked like he was having nothing but a good time as Bunkhouse Buck or Bunkhouse Brown.
Right.
So I liked it for him. And then I thought they were going to announce all the fucking guys and he forgot to announce them, but he announced them last in that first interview. So I like Robert Fuller. I like Gorgeous Gary Young. And I like Downtown Bruno, Sylvia, and Brickhouse Brown. I could have done without fucking fake Muda. Tojo Yamamoto was I think he was wheeled out on a fucking stretcher that they just stood upright. Him. And then that fucking Phil Mickelson. Fuck him. Can't. No.
But he's the same.
Phil Mickelson. Fucking Gary Young trying to get Tommy Gilbert to join him to make it even worse.
Well, if you can't beat him, join him. What's wrong with that?
He beat him for fucking 3 months, he said.
But again,
he said, if I don't beat you, go retire.
That's part of the storyline. That's the long. I
did like one thing. Gary Young did one fucking funny ass thing.
What do you do?
Because it was so funny. Because he goes, let's have a match where the first person to use his fists costs him some money. Right? Sound like fucking Roscoe Pico train. And he never said how much. He said it cost him some money. And he goes, I'm going to throw some fists too, just because it cost me some money, but I want a wrestling clinic. And then he's basically saying you're going to lose a lot of money per punch. And then when he walked away, Gary Young said, or Gary, what the fuck's his name? Gary Young?
Yeah, Gorgeous Gary Young.
Gary Young goes, yeah, I'll do it. And he goes, well, you do it, Lance Russell. Well, you do it, Gary. And it's going to cost you $100 every time you punch him. And my first thought was, nobody ever said it was $100. He said it cost some money. And then Gary Young looked at him and says, Lance, why do I feel like every time this stuff happens, you got something to do with it? And I was like, he fucking nailed him for saying $100 because no one ever said $100. So it was like fourth wall shit. Because I bet Lance Russell is behind the scenes, some kind of fucking booker writer.
Because Lance Russell is the heels agitator, you could say. He doesn't like the heels. He's the babyface announcer. So with that being said, there's nothing left to say about this. I guess you could say this funny episode from 1988. I can't say it's a classic.
It was watching.
Well, for your friend to laugh at it, it's watching. Yeah. So you're like, what the fuck are we?
Killed. He's fucking dead serious. Killed 2 midgets. We killed 2 midgets this week. And
That's
then he said fags. He said 2 referees going to pat me down. They must be fags because I don't like men touching my body. That's the professor.
He did not say that, Reflectionites. No, he did not. He did not say. That's the Smirnoff Ice talking right there. But with that being said, we close on this episodic episode 186. And you know what? Again, Big Ray is going to be on that orgy cruise in the Dominican Republic. So we don't know if he's going to recover just in time so we can record next week. So we might be back in 2 weeks. But again, keep a lookout for an episode because the next episode is going to be a professor episode. It's going to be a spotlight episode, TW. And we got to do it right. We got to do a spotlight on the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the man who has announced that he's retiring and 2025 is his last year. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, whatever he's going to do, 2025 is his last year. So we are going to celebrate the life and career of the GOAT. There's a Mount Rushmore. It's Bruno. It's Backlund. It's Hogan. It's Austin. It's Rock. But it's also the 6th gentleman here, and his name is John Cena. You can see him, Reflectionites. So, TW, are you excited for the Spotlight edition of John Cena? The GOAT?
I'm fucking stunned that we have never done one.
Well, I needed to find the right time to do it. So
I'm gonna have to break out a fucking Stone Cold. I'm gonna have to break out a John Cena shirt.
There you go. So
because I was wearing John Cena shirts when they were fucking chanting "Die, Johnny, die," and you were wearing Roman Reigns shirts when they were chanting.
I was wearing John Cena first, and then Roman Reigns. So I had both of them. I know that. I'm just saying. But I was repping John Cena. I was repping Thugonomics when people were saying "Die, Johnny, die." But anyway, it's apropos. We have to do a spotlight for John Cena. So TW, with that being said, give out those socials so we can get out of here.
Probationary still in the mix.
All right. You gotta say
Pro Wrestling Coalition Network sponsors us at what the hell? I got the beats. It's at Pro Wrestling Coalition at podbean.com.
I guess they're still on probation, so we don't know. It's on solitary.
It doesn't even say that no more. It changed. Pro Wrestling Coalition at podbean.com. You can also find Hameen Media Group at Hameen Media Group at podbean.com, and also at channelattitude.com. Our show's on the X and PW Reflection. You can find Big Ray when he's not in the Dominican, which, trust me, he ain't going to be off the internet. But you can find him on every social media platform there is, including Grindr, at Big Ray Hernandez, every Wednesday, except for this one. He's live on the Next Level podcast on the YouTubes. My Instagram and one of my exes are at TommyWonder19. The other one is at The Tommy Wonder, as well as on TikTok as The Tommy Wonder. Facebook.com/Tommy Wonder. Snapchat is #Wonder. And you can find Big Vito and Noel at Big Vito Brand on TikTok. And you can watch the early release of Reflection videos at Big Ray Hernandez on X. I got to say this. I got to send a shout out. I went and saw last Friday night Quarantine, which is Chris Jericho's 80s Kiss tribute band that he made during quarantine. Spells it with a K. And I was recognized not once, but twice by people who you see me wrestle in the 90s and 2000s. Now friends with one, Allie, and her friend Dave. She showed me a picture she took with me and Rico in the bowels of the YMCA in Warren for the Championship Wrestling Federation. She saw us up there, came up, got a picture of us, and she's my friend now, and she's a sweetheart. Her husband was awesome. I didn't catch the other guy's name, but he remembered me and came up and said, "Man, I used to hook you up with toys from the Toys R Us in Sterling Heights." And I'm like, it made my night because I almost didn't go because my buddy had an emergency with his girlfriend's mom, but she ended up telling him to go anyway. And it was a good show. So if Chris Jericho, if his show Quarantine comes to town, he's not doing Judas, so that eliminates AEW fans. But if he's coming to your town and playing the 80s Kiss music, he also did 90s and 70s Kiss music. And it's got PJ Farley from Trickster and Fozzy. Go see it. Go see it.
So so Christopher Paul Bruce Willis has got to go to one of these shows with you so you can get a picture for him. He's been active for this picture.
I got it. I already got the pictures, Christopher. I just got to get the time. Today's the first day I've been home right now in 6 days. 3 of them, you can see this beautiful tan. I'd be darker than everybody else. I've been fucking paddleboarding I've had 2 different barbecues on 2 different days for my birthday. I went to that concert, and I went to the fucking bar. And I went to a fish fry.
I'm helping you, Chris. Just know this.
Chris, I got it. And he's gonna be even more happy when he gets it. But I just gotta find the time to mail the shit to him. But I got it.
I got your back, Chris. That's all. I got your back. That's all I'm just saying. I just got your back. And you can follow me on my X at PWSOPRF. That's PWSOPROF. And if this gets uploaded by that slow motherfucker 8-Track Brown, this will be on the PWSO YouTube networks. Follow my brother in arms, Billy Ray Valentine at Obi-Wan You Know Me, and of course the king of the reactions, 8-Track Brown at the number 8, TRAC Brown. And again, I don't know if it's next week, I don't know if it's in 2 weeks, but we are going to do a spotlight on the GOAT, John Cena. With that being said, I'm the professor, and that's the birthday boy, the belated birthday boy, 50 Wonder, and looking like he's 20 Wonder. Tommy Wonder saying goodnight, and we'll see you maybe in a week, maybe in 2 weeks. I just don't know yet. So I'll keep you on your toes, Reflectionites. I'll keep you on your toes. Peace.
You know, we killed 2 midgets.
Jesus Christ. That's a great ending.